Hey, welcome to new Project Kamp video. So in this video we're gonna talk about our problems or challenges, and we're gonna do a Q&A. For you guys that don't know this yet, this is something we do every 8 videos. So number 8, 18, 28, 38, and now we're in number 48. Before we're gonna look at our new challenges and problems, let's have a look at the ones we had before, which was a little bit about taking a break. So the problem we had before, that we were making videos weekly for a year and it got a bit intense. So the problem is we won't be able to keep it up like this because few reasons. First is 1 week is short. To do and something meaningful and film and edit that in the same week, it's intense. And we also just really needed a break. So we were proposing to take a break and next year come with a video maker. And we got some interesting reactions to that. For instance, from Frankie S. I would not let the YouTube channel go dark for a few months. From Weldon, I think it's a bad idea. You must keep the content flowing to be successful. Yeah, the algorithm punishes inactive channels heavily. Maybe still make a short video each week to keep the algorithm happy. Not going to post videos for several months is a mistake. It's a huge mistake. You should make more videos. Your channel is going to suffer. If you quit the algorithm, you will kill your page. So yeah, quite a few alarming comments. Some were also positive, but generally it felt like kind of a risky thing to do, to just leave the channel and hoping after a while you guys are still here, the algorithm is still good. So yeah, but as Jeremy Nationaal Akers said, fuck the algorithm, don't let tools misshape you. We agree. So yeah, here we are now, a few months later, and before we had about 50,000 subscribers when we took a break. And now we're back and we actually got this thing from YouTube, reaching 100,000 subscribers. We actually now have over 250,000, took a while before we sent this thing. So yeah, that's good. And also the first video we posted after this long break had over 3 million views by now, which is by far the most views we ever had on the video. So the reason why I'm sharing this is mainly to say that I think many makers would have this thing, that you feel trapped by an algorithm. You need to do something to keep it energized and to keep content flowing. But I would say it's worth it to take a break. So maybe useful for other makers or ourselves in the future again. Make sure you put the energy in yourself, not the algorithm. Alright, so now let's get on with our problems we have now. Challenges. Alright, first challenge, electricity lines. So you might think, oh, silly again, like the highway sounds, now they don't like the electricity lines. Yes, highway sounds are still annoying and electricity lines is also something, but let me explain. So when we bought the land, we knew there would be electricity lines on it. We have a line here and a line there in the back, but they were not very visible, fully overgrown, so sort of there, but you didn't really see it. But now recently they cleaned up this entire line, and the other one they will do as well. Because to prevent fires they need to make sure they keep a distance cleared around the poles for 15 meters. So this makes it super visible and open where the electricity lines are. So it makes sense to prevent the fire, but realistically it's not very beautiful. And this is a bit of a challenge for us, because you might think it's just an electricity line, but if you ask around, nobody really wants to live underneath there. So for us it affects quite a lot how we deal with the landscape and where we organize the housing. Because one part, the other line, is actually quite beautiful, calm area, which would be great to live, but with the electricity line very visible there, it becomes a bit less interesting. So we need to rethink a bit our planning, and in the end it's kind of boring because we don't even use them. We have solar powered electricity, so challenge to work with. So another challenge, probably a bigger one, is fire risk. So this land burned down twice in the recent years, and it's quite likely to happen again. And this wasn't really an issue for us last year, because we just arrived to the land, everything was growing a bit, it was kind of rainy, and we didn't really build anything. But as we are here longer and we built certain structures, the vegetation started growing, so there's more material to burn. It starts to worry a bit more, knowing the history of the land, and also knowing that this year it rained much less. Last year was a rainy year, this one less, much drier. So with a hot summer coming up, it's yeah, the risks are increasing. And also if you really think about it, like on this land you have a bunch of trash laying around, broken glass and bottles, and even that, the refractoring of the glass could cause a fire by funneling the light to a specific point, which can cause a fire And then you think, man, there's so many pieces of glass laying around, so much hot sun, so much dry material to burn. How can this not burn down? Or how can we not even do something stupid with a grinder or the chainsaw or spark that we caused to burn everything down? So yeah, more and more on our head to think about it. But it actually feels somewhat of a challenge that is also good. And we knew the challenge would come when we bought this land, that the risk was there. But it also felt like a very useful thing to figure out. How can you really prevent forest fires, what to do when there is one? Because this problem of wildfires is getting more and more around the world and it becomes more and more of an issue. So hopefully we find a good solutions for it. We actually started a research topic in our website where you can follow the process we make step by step, and you can give input if you have suggestions on how to deal with this. So hopefully in a few years we figured it out and we're not scared of it anymore. It's not a challenge. Alright, on to the last challenge. Alright, and the last challenge is the people. Because everyone is super nice and friendly and they all fit in well and they do the jobs and they like to do them. But the challenge is actually that everyone comes for a small amount of time. So people sign up for a certain period and after that they leave. And this is actually quite intense, have people coming and going on a regular basis. Because if a person comes, it takes a while before they're integrated, before they understand the systems, how it works, get a bit into the routine, understand the job, and then finally do it. And having them leaving again feels kind of heavy. Also because it's a small group, so you really get to know each other. And because it's such a small group, you feel it very well when someone comes or leaves. And hopefully this would change a little bit in the future as we are going to be with more people, because now we're currently on an average with 10 people, but in the future this would increase. So if we are here with 30 people, you would feel it less when a person comes and goes. But I guess we didn't really expect this up front, to be honest, that it would feel that heavy to integrate new people and say goodbye and integrate and say goodbye. So we're actually also going to change this. Instead of now the minimum of 1 month to come, we're going to increase this to 2 months until the end of the season to really have people stay longer, which I think is better for us here, but also for the people that come and go, that they really have more time to land and really emerge into this space. So yeah, I think this challenge will be solved, but I guess it's one we didn't really foresee. So yeah, those were the challenges we currently have, and now we're going to go to the next part, which is Q&A. Okay, Q&A from you guys, some questions asked. First we're going to start with some questions asked on Patreon, because our patrons are special. No offense YouTube people, you could become a patron. If not, you're also cool, but patrons are just a bit more special. So first question, hey, I'm wondering what your approach to languages. Are you learning Portuguese? And in what language do you communicate with each other? Yeah, I'd say English is the main language. We prefer if people speak Portuguese, but many don't. What are some of the cool things, effects you didn't expect when the new people arrived? I think it was really cool to see the place, that it just works, the systems we set up, the infrastructure. It's a nice place for people to be, and water works, electricity works. So I think that was super nice. And also, yeah, the place just feels better, like just being with 2 people on a land. It's just a bit isolated. It's nice to have people around. I was wondering what experience, professions or education everyone working on a Project Kamp has.
So I studied industrial design and I'm now a product designer and I'm running a gym.
Okay, so I'm originally a teacher, literature and drama. That's my education at university. I've worked as a teacher for a year and since then I haven't.
I'm a massage therapist and a yoga teacher.
I studied graphic design and my profession is filmmaking and animation and a bit of graphic design as well.
My profession is product designer, maker, something like this.
I don't know if it's my profession, but my education is based on many years of community living. And also I studied quite some physical theater.
What's the chocolate situation in the camp? It's alright. How are you preparing for a potential upcoming wildfire? Do you have some ideas in mind how to protect the campsite with wildfire approaches? Yeah, so we already talked about this before in our challenges. Very much on our mind. We don't really know yet. We do actually have next week, we're going to go for instance to the fire department to have an interview with them to really ask what's it like here when a fire occurs, what to look out for. So we're very much now in the moment of sourcing that information and trying to understand more of it. But again, if you have suggestions or ideas, make sure to go to our research module. I'm wondering if you have any idea where Project Kamp should be in Season 5. Multiple villages, stronger cooperations with the people you visited in the neighborhood, families and kids living there. To be honest, no idea. We sort of have a rough ideas in our head what could be cool, but it feels like it's really hard to plan and work toward this. It's more like anticipating with whatever we learn and discover and trying to incorporate that into the plan. So we don't really have a 10-year plan of that's where we want to be. It gradually shapes as we spend more time here and we keep on developing. So yeah, not sure how it's gonna go, but let's see. If I remember well, last year you scratched the bark of some mimosas trees hoping it would kill them. What's the result? So here you have one of the mimosas with the bark here, and here we stripped off the bark because apparently they would then die. This one still looks pretty alive. Also that one and that one are stripped, but they're also still alive. So yeah, not sure yet. I was wondering if the whole Makita tool environment is working for you guys. Yeah, I would say so far so good. It's convenient, but then again, we only really tested the Makita environment, and I guess every supplier has their own environment. But we'll do a more in-depth review actually soon about also the chainsaw and the brush cutter we used for a while. It's probably better to wait for that video. How is the toilet working? Is it enough for people currently there?
The toilet works with a bucket where you make your thing in, no flush and sawdust, and works quite well.
No smell, no flies. It's cool.
Our toilet. Perfect.
The toilet's working well.
Beautifully. We don't have a traffic there, never. I never bumped into another person there.
Toilet is doing fine. The only difficult thing is that you cannot pee while you poo. So it's sometimes a bit tricky.
How is the solar panel system and the clay oven after the last update? I would say both are pretty good, especially the solar, surprisingly stable, not really problems with it. Clay oven had a big crack in it, still works, but that's the only downside. But so far, they're both holding up very well. Will you have water from the waterfall and wind power for the winter? We recently installed a little wind meter in base camp to see if we can, if it makes sense that we get enough wind here to even install a turbine. Waterfall, it's not on our land, so probably we wouldn't do anything soon there. And you also really need to pull the cable all the way from the creek here. So something like wind in base camp would be easier, but maybe in the long term, actually, if we establish more towards the creek, we would use it as well. But it's still to be figured out actually, if also that has enough capacity. Grandpa mentioned about the lagoon. Is it still up there and can you show us? So here's the waterfall and the lagoon should be up there. But let me get closer. So we're now on top of the waterfall, it's flowing down here. And apparently the lagoon should be all around here. But to be honest, we've never seen it because there's just too much vegetation here. We can barely see the water on the floor flowing. So yeah, not sure yet where it is. Maybe in summer we'll find it. What are your plans for the big ruin you helped to recover in episode 46? Episode 46 was actually our small ruin. We have a bigger ruin as well. The plan for the small ruin is to turn it into a guest house in the long term. And in the short term it would be a little house for us for the winter to stay warm. But yeah, for the guest house it would mainly be so experts from around the world can come with their specific expertise and we can offer them a good place to stay and then they can contribute their knowledge to the project. That would be the goal of the guest house. Did you already test the water from the well in a lab? Is it drinkable? Yes, we tested. It's drinkable, all depending how you see it. But we actually, next video, you can see the results of that and what we did. Where does everyone sleep?
I sleep here in a proper bed, the mattress, and inside this yellow box, which is my van.
I sleep in a tent on the floor.
I sleep in a van.
In a tent. In my van.
In the van.
Have you ever tried cooking Moroccan food in the camp?
Moroccan food. I don't, not here. Before in life, yes. Here, no.
What happened to the highway noise problem? Still there. Funny fact actually, that when the new people arrived, it wasn't really a thing for them. They didn't really notice it too much, and also me and Rita ourselves, we notice it much less. I think it's the upside of us having more people around, just many other noises that sort of makes you forget about the highway noise, which is quite nice actually. But it's still in the morning, you hear it a lot. When it's rush hour and everyone is quiet, that's still, maybe we need to make more noise in the morning. Also wanted to ask, how do you guys honestly feel about this? Are you guys scared, nervous, happy, or is it just go with the flow type of thing? Yeah, I think it's exciting to build this thing, and you really don't know what you're building because there isn't a 10-year plan. So it's very much easygoing and exciting to see every time what would come next. What's your favorite and least favorite thing about Kamp?
To think about this?
My favorite is the people. My least favorite is also the flies.
My favorite thing would be the people, and my least favorite thing would be there are not many flat surfaces around.
My favorite thing is probably the pizza night, Friday night. My least favorite thing is the water system, reassembling the water.
I think my favorite thing is are the animals here around. Like you have here lizards, a lot of lizards, snakes, mice, and eagles, and all that stuff. And my least favorite thing is maybe the immense amount of noise which can happen here around the camp, from all the construction site and the saws and drilling and sanding and stuff. Can be very intense.
I guess my favorite thing here is the concept of the project. My least favorite thing is the sounds of the cars.
Favorite is all the lush green around here and all the different kind of environments. There's a rocky part which is more like bushes, and there's like here a little creek with lush, lot of green growing, a lot of different plants. I really like this. Which I don't like, that I don't speak Portuguese to communicate with the neighbors.
How do you earn money to sustain your lifestyle? Lifestyle is pretty basic, like we don't really have bills like rent, electricity is free, water comes from the land. The main things we have is buying for food and development, or really building things. And the food and the sort of reoccurring costs come from YouTube. You guys watching videos gives enough money to sustain us. And then the actual development, like bigger projects we take on, we rely on donations. Are you using the wind oil to make kitchen oil? We'd love to see it in action. Oh wow, that's old school. No, we're not using that at the moment. Would be cool to test it or make a version 2 out of it. But at the moment, no. Do you plan to take a break from the channel again next winter or keep the channel going? Yeah, planning to do a break again. We really like it to just do a lot of work in the season and then reflect, zoom out and think what will be the next steps. So yeah, very much in our mind to have the break again. What happened to the giant table from the boating club? So the boating table is right here in our white tent. It's now just holding stuff. It's kind of useful, but the main reason is because we don't have enough dry space outside big enough for the table would fit. So it's a bit of a shame, but hopefully later we can put it somewhere properly. I'd like to know how you organize yourself. Do you have a daily or weekly meetings to discuss your current plans and situation? So right here we have our weekly schedule. So on Monday morning we have a meeting at 10 AM with everyone together to say what they're going to do this week. And then throughout the week we have maybe some things popping up, for instance potato harvest with the neighbors. Then on Friday we have a cleanup and a maintenance. We do a weekly recap all together to see how the week went. Then there's pizza night. And on Saturday and Sunday we don't work. And breakfast times are here. So this is kind of our weekly schedule. Do you guys planning of what to achieve in every season, like in this season, season 2 and 3? Yeah, so we don't really have this 10-year plan mapped out, what we want to achieve, but that's kind of where the seasons are very crucial for us, because we plan something in the winter, and then we execute it in the summer, and then we reflect and plan again in that next winter. So seasons are very important for us to make sure we reflect, we pivot, and we set course for the new season. Can we come and help in the summer? Certainly, you can go to the website on the support section, and then you can donate your workforce, so you can see different ways how you can help out, so sign up. What are the requirements one needs in order to be part of this beautiful project? So for the short term, you just go to the website, sign up if you want to help out. For the long term, we're not really sure yet. We hope it goes organically, like people come, if we like it, they sort of stick around and naturally become long-term people. So it's not like a thing you sign up for and then you're in or out. We're hoping for an organic process. Do you have some rule? Yeah, we have a bunch of rules. Like for instance, we eat vegan during the week, or we don't use heavy machinery on Sunday, so it's more of a quiet day. We have a bunch of these rules, but I would say they're also, we call them more guidelines because they're somewhat flexible, because we don't know what would be the best rule, but it's more of a guideline that if everyone sticks to this, it should be a coherent, good, nice place to be. And we also see this a bit like every season we reflect on the rules, maybe we try something completely different, maybe the same, maybe we rethink it a little bit. So it's a good way to sort of gradually shape a bit the guidelines of this place. I was wondering, how do volunteers that don't live in Portugal or nearby get to the camp? It depends. This is generally on the people themselves. Some are already around, some are traveling, some come with a van, so they have to drive it here. If you come from South Africa, you come with a plane. So it depends a bit on each person. Quite diverse. What's the hardest thing for you at the moment living this lifestyle?
Is that there's not so much private space, and I like to be by myself quite a lot.
The hardest thing is the being together all the time.
Not having a means of transport. So just like relying on feet to get feet or lifts from other people to get around.
The tent.
I don't know, I just know this lifestyle.
It's maybe the mixture of all, like the intensity of a community and a lot of work, and being always on the same place with the same people is quite challenging for me.
What is your governance model? Meaning, how do you make decisions and deal with conflict? So far it's been quite easy, I would say, not much conflict. I think it's mainly because we really set out a plan in the beginning of the season with the longer term people. We all agree on that, and then we just execute it during the season. And the little decisions that come up then, we can quite quickly resolve them in the group so far. And I guess in winter we might have a few more heavy decisions coming up again. But yeah, I guess we'll see this winter. But so far we can just consensus, we talk about it, everyone agrees, good. How do you guys protect yourself? God forbid, what if there's an intruder or thief? How do you deal with that? Place is pretty open. Yeah, I think in general we don't worry about this too much. It is very open. I guess someone could just walk in and take stuff, but it feels very friendly here, the neighborhood, the people. So we just have faith that nothing bad will happen. Compared to last season, why season 2 is a bit boring? What's the reason? I don't know, the weather? Do you guys have a faith or religion? If so, why and what region? I think we all have faith in mankind and Earth and being able to solve problems. We have faith in that. Religion, not that I'm aware of. We don't really talk about this. It's not very interesting, I think, to us. Yeah. How many of you speak Portuguese, and how many of the local people understand English? Portuguese, Rita is Portuguese, so she's the master. Then we have some people from Spain, which are a bit better in the Portuguese. So everyone has a different level of Portuguese. Me, not good at all. And the local people know English, mainly Portuguese. So there's always a bit of a gap in between. I think the best thing we do is just waving and say bom dia. Do Project Kamp have a defined philosophy, vision, rules or goals? Last year you answered you didn't know what a more sustainable way of living meant. Do you know now, or just hanging around waiting for boom? Yeah, waiting for boom. No, I guess we still don't know, and I think we also like to keep the question open because you probably don't have an answer. So I think the approach is just trying to understand more of it each year, researching more, testing more, trying more, and then maybe 20 years from now we have the answer. When I saw the white rice, I really wanted to ask if there's an Asian on the camp, and as an Asian too, just want to ask if it's possible to plant rice in camp. More power to you guys. Well, you can grow rice in Portugal. We don't really grow things at the moment, and we don't have an Asian person here right now, but we would like it. Alright, so that was it for this Q&A. Thank you for sending in the questions. It's really good for us actually to understand also what is unclear, and it's fun to answer them. So we're going to do this again in the next 8th video. So if you have questions, keep them in mind. And next week we're actually going to finish up the yoga decks. So they're going to look very beautiful. If you want to see that video, make sure to support on Patreon. Special people. If not, no problem, all cool. We're going to be here again next week. Same time, same channel. Thanks for watching and see you next video.